Hello everyone, you are welcome to my channel. Here we are going to continue from where we stopped on the 2021 GCE past question solution series on physics. So let's practice together. In our previous class, we stopped at question 20. So we're going to continue from there. So question 21. So question 21 says, which of the following statements is an effect of compressing gas molecules at constant temperature? So this is Bohr's law. When the molecules is compressed, that is, the volume is decreased, then what happened to the pressure? The pressure will increase. That is, P is inversely proportional to the volume. Are we together? So in that case, we have that an increase in pressure will lead to what? Decrease in a volume, or decrease in volume lead to increase in pressure. So let's look at the options here. We have option A says the molecules on the pressure on the molecules decreases. No, since it is compressed, the volume is decreased, therefore the pressure will increase. So this one is wrong. Option B says the molecule gain more kinetic energy. Wrong also. C, the molecules make more impact per second on the wall of the container. Yes, that is what will happen. The molecules will make more impact because of the increase in pressure. So here's the correct option, option C. Are we together? So question 2 says, question 22 rather, question 22 says, let's clean this. So question 22, we have this diagram. The diagram above is an illustration of an AC circuit, alternate current. Calculate the reactance of the capacitor. We are looking for the reactance of the capacitor. Another question, you might ask to calculate the impedance because it involves capacitor and resistor in series. So here we are given that since you are looking for the reactance of the capacitor, that is XC, right? And the formula is equal to 1 all over 2 pi FC. So C is the capacitance of the capacitor. So F is the frequency. So given that the frequency F is equal to 500 all over pi, the unit is hertz, right? So we are giving the frequency. So it's a question of inputting it. What is our capacitance, which is equal to 5 microfarad, which is equivalent to 5 times 10 raised to power minus 6 farad. I hope this is clear. So now our XC will be equal to 1 all over 2 multiplied by pi. The reason I'm not going to use 3.142 as the value for pi because frequency is in terms of pi. So just multiply by frequency, which is 500 all over pi, then multiply by the capacitance, which is 5 times 10 raised to power minus 6. So pi, we cancel pi. So I have XC will be equal to 1 all over 2 multiplied by 500 multiplied by 5 exponential minus 6. So I'm going to have 1 all over, when you multiply everything together, that should give us 0.005, right? That will give us 0.005. Therefore, XC will be equal to divide 1 by 0.005. That should give us 200 ohms. The reactance of the capacitor is in ohms, so that is 200. So that is option C also. So the correct answer here is option C. So moving on, we have that a current of 2 amps passes through a wire of resistance 4 ohms for 3 minutes. Calculate the energy loss. We're looking for the energy loss. So energy is equal to P, the power, multiplied by T. So the power P is given to be equal to IV, right? Multiplied by the time T. So I have IVT. But if you look at the data given to us, we are given that the current I is equal to 2 amp, and the resistance is equal to 4 ohms. Then the time is equal to 3 minutes. So we convert this 3 minutes to second, that will be equal to 3 by 60, which will give us 180 seconds. I hope we are together. So from the data given to us, we don't have V. So how do we do? Remember Ohm's law? Remember your Ohm's law that what? V is equal to IR. So in order to write this in terms of IR, anywhere I see V in the formula, I put what? IR. So that will be equal to I multiplied by V become IR multiplied by T. So here, I multiplied by I gives us I squared R multiplied by T. So the energy loss is equivalent to the heat. In terms of heat, is equivalent to what? I squared RT. So input the value. What is I? I is 2. So I have 2 squared multiplied by R, which is 4, multiplied by what? Time, which is 180. So multiply this. What is 2 squared is 4. That will be 4 multiplied by 4 multiplied by 180. So 4 multiplied by 4 gives us a 16 multiplied by 180. When you do your multiplication, that should end you at 2,880 joules. 2,880 joules. I hope we are together. So that is question 23. So question 22, rather 23, then we will move to question 24. Question 24 says, which of the following statements about the universal gravitational constant G is true? So how do we know which statement is true? Remember that G has this relationship with force. Force of attraction F is equal to G M1 M2 all over what? R squared. So knowing this, you know that the unit of force is Newton. So what I'm doing now, I want to see my answer might be between B and C, because I already know that it is not a fundamental quantity. You only have 7 fundamental quantity or thereabout, right? 7 fundamental quantity. So the gravitational constant is a derived quantity. So I know it can be A. It is a vector quantity. It can be B as well. So it is between here and here. So I want to know what is the unit and what is the dimension. In terms of unit, the unit of force is Newton, which is equal to G, since I'm looking for G. And the unit of mass is kilogram. So this one also become kilogram. That is kilogram 2 all over. The unit of R, distance is meter. So I have meter squared. So that implies that I'm going to have cross multiply. I have G, then multiplied by kilogram squared. Is that correct? Is equal to Newton meter squared, which implies now by the time I divide both sides by G squared, here divided by G squared, this implies that kilogram squared rather, G is equal to Newton meter squared all over kilogram square, which I can rewrite to be Newton meter square per kilogram square. In one hand, this is what I have, which is equivalent to one option C. But let's check for the dimension. Say it has a dimension of this. Let's look. From here, we can quickly get our dimension from here. We can get our dimension from here. Remember that the dimension of force is a derived one, isn't it? So unlike mass, length, time, temperature, and the rest. So for force, we have it to be mass times acceleration due to gravity. Mass is the dimension of mass is capital letter M. Acceleration is LT minus 2. I have done a video on how to write dimension directly from what? From a unit of any quantity. You can check the video on my channel. So MLT minus 2, that is for the force, is equal to G, and here mass is M squared. Is that correct? Then all over, since meter is a unit of length, so dimension of length is L squared also. Am I communicating? So let's check if it is true. Then here I can just cross multiply the way I did before. If I cross multiply, I have G M squared, right, is equal to M L T minus 2 multiplied by L squared. So G now will be equal to M L raised to power 3. This is L raised to power 1 multiplied by L raised to power 2 become L raised to power 3. T minus 2 all over divided by M squared all over M squared. So M, we cancel M. So it now become M raised to power minus 1, L raised to power 3, T raised to power minus 2. Let's see. Okay. Now, this one is correct, and this one is also correct. So, the dimension is M minus 1, right? L raised to power 3, T minus 2. That is the dimension of G. Also, in terms of unit, the unit of G is Newton meter square per kilogram square. So, the two options are correct. That's why I want us to check it. So, you can pick one. I believe the examiner will understand. So, you can pick any of it. So, that is question 24. So, moving on, question 25, have this wave diagram and says, determine the values of the amplitude and wavelength, respectively, of the wave. What is amplitude? Amplitude is the maximum, is the maximum displacement of a wave from its original position, from rest here. So from here to here is the amplitude. So if you're looking for this next one, here is also an amplitude, right? But if what we have seen here, we have given from here is the starting. So if that is the case, amplitude is anything from here up is the amplitude, which is also this displacement, and down is also the negative what? Amplitude, right? So if that is the case, and the whole of this one is given to be 16, therefore amplitude A will be equal to 16 all over 2, which will give us 8 centimeter. Now, in getting the wavelength, wavelength is the distance between two successive crests or trough of a wave, or between crest to trough. From here to this point, is one wavelength. So here is one wavelength, lambda 1. Sorry. So here is lambda 1. Again, when the wave gets here, starting from here, moving it like S, right? Just use that idea. So here is another wavelength. So here we L lambda 2. Another wavelength is from here, moving it down again to this point. Here is a lambda 3. So the whole of the distance is 27. That implies that total lambda is equal to lambda 1 plus lambda 2 plus lambda 3. They are all equal to 27. So since they are the same, I can just say lambda plus lambda plus lambda. In that case, I have 3 lambda equal to 27. So divide both sides by 3. By 3, I have lambda is equal to 27 all over 3, which gives us a 9 centimeter. So our correct option is going to be any place we have 8 centimeter and what? At 9 centimeter. 8 centimeter for the amplitude and 9 centimeter for the wavelength. I hope this is understood. In that case, the correct option here is option B. Are we together? So we are going to stop here in today's class. In our next class, we continue from here. I hope you enjoyed the class. Please do ensure you subscribe in order for you to be among those that will be notified each time I drop a new video. Thank you. God bless you. See you in the next video.